It's strange how one moment, just one, can shatter the rhythm of a life built over decades. One pitch, one heartbeat, one fall to the ground, and suddenly everything changes. Dreams blur, silence roars, the stadium watches, but no one plays. This isn't just a story of a baseball player. This is the story of Mike Jorgensen, a man who fought his way up through noise, pressure, and pain, only to face his biggest opponent on a quiet afternoon in 1979. And that opponent wasn't wearing a jersey. This is about grit. This is about fate. But above all, this is about a man who stood again when life tried to keep him down. What do you remember about a baseball game? The crowd? The cheers? The walk-off home run? But what if I told you? One of baseball's most gripping, most heartbreaking stories doesn't come from a record-breaking moment, but from a man lying still on the field, eyes closed, while medics ran toward him. He wasn't a Hall of Famer. He wasn't the league MVP, but his story could make even the loudest stadium fall silent. This is not just a story about baseball. It's about survival, about the fragility of a dream, and the fight to keep it alive. Mike Jorgensen was born on August 16, 1948, in Passaic, New Jersey. A small-town boy with big league dreams. Baseball was more than a sport for him. It was breath, it was purpose. He wasn't the most hyped prospect, but he was determined. That's what set him apart. In 1966, the New York Mets took notice and drafted him. His journey began. The early years weren't glamorous. He spent years grinding in the minor leagues, traveling on buses, eating cheap food, practicing until his hands blistered. Every swing, every throw, every ounce of effort. It was all for that one dream, the major leagues. And in 1968, that dream came true. Mike Jorgensen made his MLB debut. But success didn't come easy. He had to earn his position, battle for at-bats, and prove, again and again, that he belonged. His glove at first base was solid, and his bat steadily improved. After stints with the Mets, he joined the Montreal Expos, where he truly found his rhythm. In 1973, he had his best season, a .276 batting average, 18 home runs, 67 RBIs, and a Gold Glove award at first base. That year, Jorgensen became a respected name across the league. Not a superstar, but a cornerstone. But then came May 28, 1979. The Montreal Expos were playing against the Atlanta Braves at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. The sun was high, the air buzzed. On the mound stood Larry McWilliams, a rookie pitcher with a lively fastball. Jorgensen stepped up to the plate. Focused, calm. He'd done this thousands of times, but this time, it went horribly wrong. McWilliams fired a pitch that ran inside, too far inside. In a flash, the ball struck Jorgensen on the side of the head. The sound echoed across the stadium. He dropped instantly. The crowd gasped. Players froze. The dugout emptied as trainers rushed onto the field. He wasn't moving. Time stopped. What no one knew then was that the impact had done more than cause a concussion. It had triggered a brain clot, a silent killer forming inside his skull. Jorgensen was rushed to the hospital, not for treatment, for survival. He would miss over 2 months of the season. When he finally returned, nothing felt the same. His timing was off, his confidence shaken. The man who once stood fearless at first base now heard the echo of that pitch in his head every time he stepped into the box. Doctors warned him, another similar impact could be fatal. But Mike didn't quit. He played on, returning to the Mets in 1980 and later joining the Texas Rangers and St. Louis Cardinals. His playing time diminished, his power numbers dropped. But he was still there, still fighting, still giving everything he had, because quitting was never part of his game. In 1995, years after retiring as a player, Jorgensen returned to the Cardinals as a coach and even served as an interim manager in 1995. He mentored young players, taught them the value of patience, of resilience, of mental toughness. He became the voice in the locker room that players leaned on, not just for advice on baseball, but for life. When asked about the injury, Jorgensen never played the victim. He said, "It was tough, but I was lucky. I got to play the game I loved. Not everyone gets that chance." That's Mike Jorgensen for you. Quiet, humble, tougher than anyone knew. Baseball never gave Mike Jorgensen an easy path. It gave him bruises, it gave him scars, but he gave it loyalty, discipline, and heart. And in return, baseball gave him a place in its history, not through trophies, not through stats, but through a story that reminds us all. Even in the face of fear, some players keep standing. If you're still here, if Mike's story touched your heart, then do something for me. Hit that subscribe button. Not for me, but for the unsung heroes.